Right, let's get the view of Jacob Culshaw, presenter of the WD18 fan channel. Hello, Jacob. Good evening, mate. What was your views on that game then? Similar to Andy's. You know, it could have been more, but you'll take the point.
Yeah, hi guys. Yeah, it's very similar to Andy. I thought first half we were fantastic. What a start as well. Andre Gray on the score sheet, and then come second half, I thought the first 15 we were pretty good, and then Slav made those two changes at half time and made his 3 subs before the 70th minute, and that just seemed to change the game really. We started to get deeper and deeper. We didn't adapt our press, and it was inevitable. The goal was coming, as Andy said. It's a soft goal as well. Janmat turning his back, Mitrovic getting across the defender. But having said that, it feels like a loss because we did go up and we looked comfortable and we should have put the game to bed. But having said that, Fulham's a difficult place to go. They're a good side. It's another point on the board, and we're in the top 4. Well, 13 points out of 6 games, so you can't really complain. I think a lot of fans need to just chill out. They're getting a little bit too negative. You have to look at our position in the league. I'd definitely take a point at Fulham. It's just a shame we couldn't see the game out by half time, really.
Hi, Jacob, Andy here. Why do you think we perhaps couldn't finish Fulham off? Because we've seen Watford in previous weeks. We've actually been quite clinical with our chances. We've got one of the best conversion rates in the league. Was it just simply one of those days where the ball just wouldn't end up in the back of the net?
It's a tough one. I can't really put my finger on what went wrong. I think our final ball was lacking. It wasn't as good as it normally is. I think I can name a few times. Hughes in the first half, Deeney could have squared it to, I think it was Andre Gray. Decore had another one where he could have put through Gray, and Gray was fantastic for me. So going forward, I thought we were good in the midfield. It was just that final third, we just lacked a little bit of quality, and that final ball really did cost us.
You strikers, you talk about the conversion rates, and clearly Gray and Deeney have started the season very well. They've really kind of hit it off, making a good partnership there. Andre Gray with another goal yesterday. What have you made of his season?
Well, I think at the start he was struggling to kind of adapt to the two up front, but yesterday he was up there with Caputh for man of the match for me. I think his first touch was absolutely sublime, and I was saying it to a fan today at the Watford ladies game that the difference with Gray this season, and particularly yesterday, was we had a lot of complaints with Watford fans that he wasn't holding the ball up enough, he wasn't feeling the defender, he wasn't backing into the defender. It was completely different yesterday. He was actually doing Deeney's role. He was holding the ball up fantastically well, playing in the wingers, and I thought that finish in the second minute to be that sharp that early on was sublime. So I think he was definitely one of our better players yesterday. And that partnership with Deeney and Gray seems to be getting better and better each week.
Do you think it's helping Gray playing alongside someone like Troy Deeney, someone with that leadership and that knowledge of the Premier League? Because last season, obviously, it didn't work for either Deeney or Gray playing as that lone striker, and now it's obviously benefiting them both playing with someone else. But do you think it's because he's got Troy Deeney next to him, someone who can lead the line well, that he's benefiting from that leadership?
Yeah, I think we've seen with Troy throughout the years as a Watford fan, he loves playing with a partner, and Andre Gray seems to be benefiting from someone who can hold the ball up, can drop a bit deeper and play him in. He can use his pace, he can get in behind, but also they interchange. So I think there's a really good relationship with Deeney and Gray, not only on the pitch, but off it too. They seem to know where each other are going to run into the space. But I think Gray's definitely benefiting. We saw it last season, Andy, when Gray was playing in that one-up-top formation. He was struggling massively.
The equaliser for Fulham, I mean, Mitrovic has been on fire, in incredible form, basically since he went to them. But in the build-up, how much blame do you apportion to Darry Janmaat? Because I feel like he kind of bottled that challenge, didn't he?
A bit weak, wasn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, he did bottle that, turning his back. It was a theme, actually, throughout that game. He was getting exposed by Vieto down that left flank. I think Janmaat, I know it's early days, but I think he's got to be dropped for Arsenal next week. Feminine has to come back in. Janmaat, I mean, he started well, but it's just as it goes on, he just doesn't look comfortable at right back. He's not comfortable going forward and making the ground back again. Whereas with Feminine, if he goes forward, he's going to make the ground back. Janmaat was poor for the goal.
Do you agree with the subs that Javi made and the timings of them, or is there anything that you'd have done different?
Yeah, I think it's the first criticism I have of Javi this season. He made his changes far too late. And I think he did that last season as well. He just seems to not really be that proactive with his substitutions, whereas Jukanovic is the other end of the spectrum. If you remember, Andy, Brighton away, the season we got promoted, he took off Anya and around the 20th minute, made the change, and that ultimately won us the game. So Jukanovic is known for having the balls, really, to change it up, whereas Gracia, I don't really think he hasn't got the kind of the urge to change, but I don't think he's very proactive, and he likes to keep it the same. It's almost like he's got too much loyalty to the players. So I think Decore should have come off for Chalobah. I think Success should have come on 10 minutes earlier. And maybe even Sema. I think Pereira was very, very poor yesterday, and I know he's had a fantastic start to the season, but he was really nullified by Fosu Mensah. So I think Pereira should have come off maybe for Sema. I would like to see more of Sema. I think he's a real talent down that left-hand side. I think Success, when he comes on, makes an impact. And I think the one you mentioned, Andy, Chalobah had to come on a little bit earlier. And it would have been for Decore, because I thought Capoue was the better man in the middle.
Fosu Mensah, he's tweeted from last night saying, good result in the end, we managed to make amends for a poor first half and come back strong in the second. I want to apologise for my tackle on Troy Deeney, it was not intentional. What was your view on that? Do you think Timothy should have been sent off? Yeah,
it's 100% a red card. All the pundits have said it, and you can tell with the player's reaction, he looked guilty. I think the thing with Deeney is, and you don't want to say it, but if he made more of a meal of it, it's a straight red. But the fact he got up and got on with it, it kind of, the referee could give him a yellow card. He had an option to give him a yellow card, whereas if Deeney's rolling around, the players are surrounding the referee, then he gets given a straight red. But that's just how Deeney is, and fair play to him. I mean, the exchange on Twitter was superb from both players, class act from Deeney especially. But yeah, no, I think it was definitely a red card. I think the referee didn't have a clear view of it in his defence when watching it back. He was obstructed, but I think obviously he'll know when he sees that again, that's a straight red. And if Deeney's legs planted, that could have easily been a broken leg. So yeah, it was very dangerous.
Looking ahead to next week, Jacob, how do we approach the game against Arsenal? Do we? You've mentioned we might make a couple of changes in the squad. Do you think we go with the same sort of intensity? Do you think the confidence will have been knocked slightly with now a defeat and a draw going into a game away at one of the big sides?
I don't think the confidence will be knocked, because I think Gracia's got such a good mentality in the players, and the atmosphere in the dressing room seems really, really good at the minute. But I watched the Everton-Arsenal game, and one thing I noticed with Everton is that they pressed really, really high, and that actually caused Arsenal a lot of problems. Everton deserved to win that match. So if we get Arsenal with the backline, we know they're shaky, and I saw it today when Richarlison, for Watford man, pressed high, they panicked, lost the ball, and they seemed to get them on the counter-attack. And I think maybe Gracia might look at that and think, you know what, let's start Isaac up front and just get at them from the off if Deeney is injured. But at the same time, we can't be too reckless that we leave too much space in the middle. So it's all about getting a fine balance against a decent side like Arsenal. But I think on their day, if the atmosphere is not great at the Emirates, we can maybe get a result. I do fancy our chances, and especially Tottenham last week, it shows that we can do a few big scalps in this league. But no, I think it's going to be a tough one. People underestimate Arsenal. They've got a lot of quality up front. Lacazette, one shot, one goal. We're going to have to be tight at the back, and we're going to have to take our chances.